Have you ever wondered what really separates a good teacher from a truly great one? I mean, really think about it. Is it just about being the smartest person in the room, or is there something else, some hidden ingredient to their genius? Well, I've got a story for you that might just hold the answer.
So that's the big question we're tackling here. We tend to assume that if someone's a genius, they must be a fantastic teacher, right? But is that always true? We're going to dig into this, all through the story of one of the most brilliant minds of the 20th century. So who is this genius teacher we're talking about? Well, let me tell you, we're not just talking about some smart professor. The man at the center of this story is an absolute legend in the world of science.
This is Richard Feynman, and when we say great, we're not exaggerating. His work in quantum physics literally changed the way we understand the universe. But beyond his incredible intellect, Feynman had this infectious, playful curiosity. He had this amazing knack for making the most complicated things in the world feel, I don't know, almost simple.
And yeah, the world definitely took notice. In 1965, Feynman, along with two of his colleagues, was awarded the Nobel Prize in Physics. This was for his groundbreaking work in quantum electrodynamics. So let's be crystal clear. This isn't just some smart guy. This is a man at the absolute top of his game. But our story, it doesn't happen at some fancy Nobel ceremony in Stockholm. Nope. It happens on a completely ordinary day, seen through the eyes of a student who is about to see something, well, something he would never forget. And the only reason we even know this story is because of this guy, Alan Harris. He was a student at Caltech, the super prestigious university where Feynman taught. And on this particular day, he was about to get a behind-the-scenes look at greatness. So picture this, right? Alan's just finished up his work in the lab. He's just, heading out into the hall to grab a drink of water. Totally normal, everyday stuff. But as he's standing there, he hears something coming from down the hall. A voice. And it sounds really familiar. And this, right here, is where that normal day takes a very sharp turn. His curiosity gets the best of him, and he decides to check it out, to see where this voice is coming from, echoing out of what should be an empty part of the building. And of course, he knew that voice instantly. There was no mistaking it. It was Professor Feynman. So Alan gets curious and quietly peeks into the lecture hall. He's probably thinking Feynman is talking to another professor or maybe a student. But what he actually saw was something else entirely. Because what he saw, well, in his own words, it was what a surprise. The lecture hall wasn't totally empty, but there definitely wasn't a class in there. What was going on in that room was about to completely reshape how Alan saw his world-famous professor. So you've got the expectation, right? A quiet hall, maybe Feynman's just reviewing his notes. But the reality? Oh, the reality was mind-blowing. Richard Feynman was standing at the front of the room, giving a full-blown dress rehearsal of his lecture to a theater of completely empty seats. And this is where we get to the real secret, the heart of the whole thing. That moment, that empty room, it reveals what was truly behind Feynman's legendary ability to teach. It wasn't just about raw talent. It was something so much deeper. And look, this wasn't just him mumbling his notes to himself. No way. He was performing. Imagine it. He was using all his hand gestures. He had these passionate expressions on his face. He was writing every single note and equation on the chalkboard, all with the genuine energy and enthusiasm you'd expect for a packed house. Just stop and think for a second how incredibly hard that is. When a teacher's in front of a real class, you get energy back from the students. Their laughs, their questions, it creates a vibe. Feynman was creating all of that energy by himself, for himself. That takes an unbelievable amount of dedication. Let that sink in for a moment. This is a Nobel Prize winner, a titan of physics. He could have just walked in and winged it, especially for a class of undergrads, and nobody would have blamed him. But instead, he chose to put in this incredible, unseen effort. That level of commitment, that respect for his students, now that's the secret sauce. Which brings us to one last big question. We look at people like Feynman, and we see the genius, right? The natural talent. It seems so effortless. But this story, it pulls back the curtain. It shows us the unseen work, the relentless practice, the full dress rehearsal in an empty hall. So what do you think? Is true genius just something you're born with, or is it something that's meticulously, passionately, and tirelessly built?